I'm sick and tired of the mysteries. I'm sick and tired of not knowing. So today, the task shall be completed. The mission shall be answered. We will find out if lightsabers have improved from when we were kids, and if the expensive ones on the market are worth the price tag. And also, for the love of God, what the hell does neopixel mean? While preparing for the actual shoot for this video, I had a realization. I had never asked Kayla where she fell in the incredibly complex and nuanced moral spectrum offered within the Star Wars galaxy. I was essentially living with a stranger. It was time to know. Would you be a Jedi or a Sith?
Sith.
Once I was able to escape the immediate danger of being in the presence of a Sith, I began to process this revelation, unsure what my future held. I had no idea what to do with this information. I had allied myself with a sociopath. Fortunately, I had a perfect excuse to leave the house to process this information. Leaving to pick up groceries for tonight's dinner, I was able to envelop myself in the small-town richness Richmond has to offer. Unfortunately, though, no matter how much small-town charm you're able to absorb, there is no escape from the realization that your loved one is a serial killer. Deciding I needed some peace and quiet, I went to a local coffee shop in Richmond, Virginia called Fuel Pump. It offered me refuge to clear my mind. Unfortunately, nothing could have prepared me for the ambush awaiting me at checkout.
Oh, think of the youngling.
As impossible as it may seem, my secret had already slipped into the public eye. The people knew I was in love with a Sith. My fate became inevitable. It became clear at the end of this video I would have to kill the very woman I love. The very woman holding the camera. So I just showed Kayla the first part of the video I've been working on all morning. Did you know?
No, not at all. And you're super weird.
So we're gonna fight tonight, and the winner decides the future of Star Wars. Upon editing the last segment, I saw something terrifying. In the last seconds of the video, I saw her desperately attempt to try and punch me in the back of the head. The only thing that saved my life was her noticing herself in the viewfinder. Death had knocked on my doorstep. The only step left for us was to choose our weapons for the fight tonight. While setting up to be able to get an accurate sound profile of each lightsaber, and also see how each blade would perform in broad daylight, I decided to have an extra special setup where I'd be able to take out some of the frustration I'd been building towards my cat. Putting a fake Pips on a pedestal would allow me to beat my cat without ever actually beating my cat, helping improve our relationship all the way through. I just would need to make sure Pips never saw what I did. Amazon. Unfortunately, the first blade I brought from Amazon had an unnaturally tinny sound, and its motion control was extraordinarily sudden in its start-stop feel. Fortunately, the next Amazon blade had a bassier sound and much smoother motion control. But it also had a habit of turning itself off. Better. Next up was Rebel Sabers, the first company that wouldn't be something your grandma accidentally bought for you off Amazon just to see if you'd like it. I was excited to see what upgrades and differences the company would provide. Volume's a little mixed in terms of how loud this consistently is versus the swing. To be perfectly fair, the price range at which these were purchased at in a bundle of 3 would equal out to roughly the same ballpark as the Amazon Sabers, and they did seem like a slightly better build quality, though, that being said, a lot of these companies are selling similar builds with just different internals. Without neopixel blades though, this was still the cheaper end of what I wanted to demonstrate for my audience, and my expectations were met. Despite the abundant joy I was clearly having, my fun was about to be spoiled. I was unaware that I had just picked up a Sith blade, clearly the weapon of Kayla. The first time in my Jedi life, I began to feel the appeal of the dark side, the ease at which power came to me, the anger, the hatred. It was all too easy. Giving in to the dark side had never been more tempting. My only hope of salvation came in the technology of neopixel blades, a type of lightsaber that apparently illuminates every single inch of the blade from top to bottom in custom commands. I was hoping this gift could pull me back from the darkness. Crimson Dawn. I thought I had found salvation, a weighty speaker, an incredible blade, but unfortunately, problems began to rear their ugly head. No clicky button. In addition to the extremely flaccid button to turn on and off the lightsaber, as well as change settings, there began to be additional issues with the blade not actually lighting. Several different fonts in a row resulted in a completely blank blade, no matter how many times I tried to change that. I could feel my soul being pulled back into the shadow. Just turned off.
Mr. Traveler. Wraith. Did you come back to say you forgive me?
Desperate not to be pulled further into the shadow, I only had one final blade to test. One blade I hope would ignite when called upon, and provide me with a weapon worthy to fight a Sith Lord with. So just real quick, the battery dies every time I leave this thing for 10 minutes. That being said... Oh, it's gay! Seeing a pride flag ignite within my lightsaber sent joy and light into my heart. I had a blast playing with saber form's multiple settings, all of which worked exactly as intended. Finally, I had found a weapon worthy to fight a Sith with, and there were seemingly endless options I could choose in terms of style to take on my love. But funnily enough, I found one dinosaur themed that felt oh so fitting. But I did realize it might be a little distracting to have a T-Rex calling while in combat, so instead I shifted it to a more traditional lightsaber sound. No, not that one. It's buzzy and weird. This one. It's time to kill my girlfriend. Unfortunately, for the next 2.5 hours, Pips did not move from his spot in the sun, a sure sign he had seen what I'd done, or that he was a cat. Couple quick things though to make this actually an informative review. The Rebel Sabers, I think so far, do qualify for best bang for your buck, especially if you're getting it for someone younger and you don't mind them getting whacked around quite a bit. They have a really nice clicky button, no issues with any of the three that I had in terms of battery, and the step up in quality from the Amazon one is substantial enough, especially in how they feel in the hand, to really matter. This one I got from Amazon is by far the worst. It has this obnoxiously tinny noise, and you can hear it stop-start the sound for it moving in a way that's so jarring. I will say the Crimson Dawn one does look really cool, but there's a lot of problems going on with the internal, fonts. I thought it was just me screwing up, but after spending a lot of time with that blade trying to get them all to work right, just wouldn't happen. So if you're willing to invest in going into the actual programming to try and fix it, great. Otherwise, I just don't recommend the Crimson Dawn blade. There is also the issue where the battery within the Saberform one dies very quickly. I think I maybe get an hour out of it tops, and if I just leave it, even if it's off, it dies faster than any others. Also has the mushy button, but no internal problems. I also have had really good experience reaching out to their team on Instagram, talking with them. They were really responsive, and they were the most responsive of any of the people in terms of actually having customer service reach out, which is huge, and I don't think the battery issue will be something that many people face. I could have just gotten a lemon, and it's not that big a deal. So this is the one that if you're willing to spend the most money, I personally had the best experience with, and I'd recommend them over the rest, if you have the biggest wallet. Otherwise, the 3 bundle deal I got from Rebel Sabers is fantastic, especially if you're trying to get them from multiple kids. And then so you can better see the difference between baselit and neopixel, we're going in the dark. What she said. Now what's interesting is here you see a neopixel blade and a regular baselit one ignited side by side, and obviously the neopixel completely overwhelms the light emitted from the baselit. But once you take the neopixel out of the equation and you just have baselit blades, the difference actually becomes not that noticeable. Now these are two baselit blades, and it's about even and looks fine on camera. Whereas if you have a neopixel in your frame, suddenly the baselit looks bad, but it didn't necessarily before. Another little additional note for Rebel Sabers. No idea why it's turning off whenever I give it any kind of motion. It just goes right off now. So I'm beginning to think quality control as a whole in this industry kind of needs to be worked on, because it just went off again. Okay, Kayla. At least like that less stereotypically. Okay, okay, no, you can't be laughing.
Sorry.
Okay, Kayla, now you've been through the lot. Which one is your favorite?
Well, I mean, we can kind of tell already which one's gonna be my favorite. It's gonna be all about that black on black on black. Yeah. Love that.
As I watched the love of my life pick a blade that I had referred to as Sith just a few minutes prior, my resolution for what I must do tonight became stronger than ever.
You're evil!
Just following orders.
You have done well, my apprentice. Now, bring me the catnip.
Answering the question actually posed at the beginning of this video, how much better are they from when we were kids? Well, I actually dug super deep into my closet and found one that was gotten for me, I want to say like freshman year of high school, and I want to compare it to even the cheapest one that's available, not the worst I got, but the worst that's still just like an Amazon Saber, and show the difference. First of all, this one, you're just going to have to hear it because it's always on. Yeah, there's no way to not have this sound, and there's no motion control. All that you get is if you swing hard, a sound effect that often overlaps with instead just like the noise of it hitting something, whereas this guy actually looks really good on camera, even just being baselit. You can turn off the sound, and even at this price range, the motion tracking feels awesome, and the blade looks sensational on camera. So for any casual collector who just wants to have a cool lightsaber that's going to impress friends or just fun to whack around with, I do think you can just go with the base of what's out there now. I didn't press the button, it just turned on. These things are like haunted. I just punched it. I maintain what I said, quality control is an issue in this industry for sure. But if you want to go ham and you want to really impress some people, or you're a cosplayer, absolutely, the neopixels are incredible. I have had every single friend who has put one of these in their hands have a reaction to turning it on that is equivalent to